In the United States, we elect our leaders to Congress to do the will of the people, to represent us at the federal level. Now, this idea was revolutionary when it was first conceived, and it's worked for us for over 250 years. However, along the way, something had happened. Leaders had stopped caring about our wishes and started focusing only on the party's wishes. What happened to a government of the people, by the people, for the people? When Abraham Lincoln spoke these words, they were meant to describe our democracy. We, the people, make up the government. We elect our leaders, and they are to abide by our wishes. Now, over the last 15 to 20 years, I've seen the parties make promise after promise, and they have broken every single one of them. They only care about getting reelected, gaining seats in Congress, and gaining power. They have ignored the American people in favor of party politics. Now, if you've been paying any attention to the political arena over the last year, you've noticed that American division is at an all-time high. Parties will block legislation strictly because the other party recommended it. This doesn't hurt them. It hurts you, the American people. And so today, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I believe political parties should be abolished. Those 3 reasons are that George Washington didn't want them and warned us against them. They create division, and partisanship prevents cooperation and compromise. Now, first among these reasons that we'll be discussing is the division parties cause amongst the American people. Parties seek to gain as many votes as humanly possible. Now, this is just natural in a democracy, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, the methods that they use has caused grave division. In 2016, Pew Research found that 8 in 10 Americans stated that their differences with those who believe different were about core American values. Well, 9 in 10 of them believed that the other group would cause lasting damage to our nation. And that sounds like pretty big division. Now, some people would say that people aren't that divided anymore. And I tell you, look no further than social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. There's an opinion piece by Brandon Hicks. It's called Why Liberals Should Support National Healing. He wrote it in November of this year. He stated that Republicans have been our tormentors for 4 years, and justice seems to demand they endure a comparable measure of discomfort during the Biden-Harris administration. Now, that sounds pretty divisive. Parties thrive on causing division, and they do it to maintain the status quo in Washington. So now, let's go on to what our first president thought. During his 1796 farewell address, George Washington had warned against many things, and among them was political parties. He stated that it serves always to distract the public councils and enfeeble the public administration. It agitates the community with ill-founded jealousies and false alarms. Does this sound familiar to you? How often have you heard, oh, Republicans want to take away X or Democrats want to take away Y? He states that the formation of parties would lead to the men in charge of these factions wanting to elevate themselves over wanting to do what is right in the name of liberty. Now, you may be saying, well, even if they are abolished, people will still group together. And, well, you're right. George Washington recognized this. He stated that this spirit, unfortunately, is inseparable from our nature. This trait is our greatest enemy due to the human nature and desire to dominate over one another. He saw the pitfalls, and he tried to warn us about it. And one of those pitfalls is actually what we'll bring up next. And that's partisanship prevents them from being able to compromise and cooperate. According to a 2017 article, Why Competition in the Politics Industry is Failing America by Catherine M. Gale, Simpson Bowles is the most egregious example of this. It was a 2011 piece of legislation. It was actually called the National Commission on Fiscal Responsibility. It was an attempt to address the recession that we were going through at that time. It was a bipartisan effort, and at the end of it all, nobody in the commission disagreed that they liked 100% of that bill. They had to compromise. They didn't like to, but they had to for the good of the American people. This bill died on the floor because not enough people were willing to cross party lines to vote for it. Now, I may hear you say, but hey, Adam, the parties have worked together in the past, haven't they? Well, yes, they have, but those bills have died too, strictly because of the partisanship issues. Political parties, by nature, cannot work together or make meaningful decisions, nor can they be trusted to be able to compromise for the good of the people. So today I've gone over my 3 reasons why I believe political parties should be abolished. Those 3 reasons, again, are that they cause division, prevents cooperation and compromise, and George Washington himself said that it was a bad idea. Now, we as a united people should start rejecting the practice of party politics if we truly want to reach a point of greatness for our nation. It is my wish to see our government act on our behalf again, and in our benefit. However, until political parties are no longer in the equation, we unfortunately might not ever see that again. Thank you.